and you'll be sick of this. And then you just lift it and move it back. In this situation, I need to obviously get it down safely. I'm not allowed to stand directly behind it, so I'm going to put that there, again for the reason of it coming back off the stump, and for obvious reasons, you're not allowed to go directly underneath it. Once it is hung up, we're obviously going to have to stand to the side of it like this, but as long as I'm not going underneath it, I'm okay. Again, I'm going to have to work near the back of it when I'm rolling it, but we don't want to be putting our feet right behind it. I need to decide which way I want it to roll at this point. So in order for me to roll it to the left, I need to leave the left hand side of the hinge intact. So I cut out the right hand side. And if I wanted to roll it to the right, I'll do the opposite. So what you're leaving, if you imagine the hinge that goes all the way along, that was my hinge. So I'm going to cut 80% of it out on the right hand side, and I'm going to leave that, okay? And that acts as a pivot point for me to roll it. But if you went for the full 80% in one go, you're just going to end up getting the saw trapped, which is not good, obviously. So if I wanted to cut this side out, what I would do is I would stand here, again in that straddling position of that stick, and I'm just taking passes. The best way I can describe it is you're taking 5% at a time. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, until you get all the way up to 80%. You've got to be careful not to cut beyond 80%, but I'm just taking passes, so I'm coming from the back of the back cut straight out the front of the face cut. If I go round the other side, it's the opposite. I'm going from the face, inside the face cut, straight out the back. And I'm always using this bottom corner of the saw. So if you find yourself in a position where you're getting a lot of kickback, and you kind of, say for example here, and cutting with the tip of your saw out the front, it's because you're cutting in the wrong direction. And it's not going to be controlled because it's just going to be trying to kick back. Okay, so just get your heads down a little bit and see what I'm doing here. See it start to move a bit. Sometimes these levers can work really well, and sometimes they just won't stick in. So while I've still got a bit of hinge there and this tree's still fairly solid, I'm just going to do myself a favour and put a slit in the side of this, yeah, which will allow me just to put the flat part of the lever in, so that if it doesn't start hooking and I've got a problem, I can just slip that in, yeah. I wouldn't want to do this, say if it was going to get used for like milled timber, for example, if it was going to a furniture place. This obviously isn't. If it's going for firewood or for the wood chipper, there's no problems doing it, yeah. But if you wanted to preserve the wood, you wouldn't do this. Okay. Yep, see how it slots in there quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now is push it around. Okay, so I always want to push, I never want to pull in case I fall back on myself. Yeah, so. And you'll be sick of this. Okay, so it's past that branch now, which is good. When it starts to go, I just let go. sometimes, no matter how much you roll it, it just never comes down. And I could also go back the other way now. I could try and wiggle it down back and forth, see if that works. But sometimes it's just not coming down. You need to move it back, okay? So once we've finished the hinge reduction, we need to look at the hinge removal, okay? So this is a slightly different way of cutting to the hinge reduction. So with the hinge reduction, you can see I was just going flat, yeah? And I've left a nice 20% at the end of that. With the hinge removal, what I'm doing is I'm cutting about like slices of toast. The objective is to get it off that stump. If I went flat here, there's a good chance it's just going to trap my saw. So now I need to do angled cuts, but mixing up the angles a little bit, like I'm taking little slices of toast out and doing that until it's completely done. Positioning wise, it can feel a little bit awkward to find the right position, but you've just got to try and find somewhere where you're not directly behind it and you're not really looking down the bar, so you're out of the kickback zone. So for me, for here, because I've managed to roll that all the way over, it's quite a nice open position for me to cut that off. And this is the ideal position that you want. Okay, I now need to grab a nice stick. Just need to make sure it's alive, or it was before it was felled anyway. So it's got enough strength and integrity in it to do the job. Some other things worth mentioning, because this is part of the questions with a hung up tree, is that what are you and what are you not allowed to do with it, okay? So you're not allowed to climb on it, obviously. You're not allowed to fell the tree that it's caught up in. So the one over there, I'm not allowed to go and fell that. I'm not allowed to fell another tree on top of it. So for example, this one, I'm not allowed to put it on top of it in the hope that it's going to try and bring them both down together. You're not obviously allowed to go behind it, go under it. You're not allowed to leave it. If I didn't have my winch in the van, let's say, I couldn't just leave this here and say I'll bring it back tomorrow without at least doing something like putting some barrier tape around it. So I'd need to barrier tape it and then probably tell Darren that there's a dodgy tree in the woods, be careful with letting your dogs in. So at least then it's protected. Okay, so when I'm poling it out, what I want to try and do is, well, first of all I'm going to try and move it away from that stump. I stick that forward, so the more forward you can get that, the better. So if you're kind of going like this, you're not going to move it that much. You need that as forward as you can, and then you just lift it and move it back. When it starts to go, you just let go of that pole. In a way, it actually even helps you because it keeps it off the ground. You don't try and get the pole out, you just let go of it, same as a lever. And that's it.